Hey everyone, it's time for our week 48 Bible readings as we go through the Bible chronologically in 2023. This week, still in the book of Acts, but also 1st Thessalonians, 2nd Thessalonians, and then into 1st Corinthians. So let's start with Acts, chapters 17 through 19. Paul is on his third missionary journey, so we're sometime in the early to mid 50s AD. And then we're going to read about his travels to various places. Thessalonica is in there, Athens, Corinth, Ephesus, but a few other places as well. And everywhere he goes, persecution is his traveling companion. And that's just the way life is for Paul. And that's what God said would be the case way back in chapter 9 when he was talking to Ananias about going to this man named Saul of Tarsus. But let's move now to 1st Thessalonians. 5 chapters, relatively short. Great little letter of encouragement, writing to a group of younger believers. Now, when I say younger, I mean younger in the faith. That's going to be, people who are just new converts, really. Paul wasn't able to stay in Thessalonica very long. Persecution came, and he was basically forced to leave and travel to Berea. And he wanted to write some things to them. After sending Timothy to them, there were some answers that needed to be given to their questions. But details are given. It's a very encouraging letter. And I want you to notice the emphasis on the return of the Lord. He puts that in every chapter, close to the end of each chapter. And then 2nd Thessalonians chapters 1 through 3. This one takes more of a serious turn because there are some people who have basically pretended to be Paul, saying that the day of the Lord has already come. So Paul has to inform them that it hasn't come. And let me tell you of some things that must take place before that day of the Lord. And then we get into the Corinthian letters. The first one, and technically it's the first letter of Paul to them, but 1 Corinthians is actually a response from Paul to a letter that they had written to him. So he writes this letter. We're somewhere in the mid-50s AD, about 25 years after Jesus has ascended back into heaven, and probably 20 years since Paul had become a believer. But he's addressing very serious issues. Division was a big problem in the Corinthian congregation, and much of this letter is dealing with that very thing. So whenever you're reading 1 Corinthians, just understand something. Most of it, and I mean most, capital M, capital O, capital S, and capital T, most of it is corrective. Even when it sounds like he's commending them, he's correcting them. It's just the nature of the letter. Still worthwhile to read, and we'll get through chapters 1 through 14. Well, that's our week in reading, and we're almost to the end, folks. It's crazy to think that some 11 months ago we began this journey. We're close to the finish line, so don't give up. Spend time with the Lord in His Word, not just to read it, but to behold Him. That's the best part. Until next time, grace to you.